When we talk about angles and angle measure, we're talking usually about angles in standard position. So an angle in standard position is an angle that's drawn on a coordinate system, like an x and y axis. And it says the position of an angle when its initial arm is on the positive x-axis and its vertex is at the origin of a coordinate grid. So you know what the origin is, right? 0, 0. That's where the vertex of the angle is going to be. So the point, like where the two arms come together, is going to be right at the origin. Its initial arm is on the positive x-axis. So if we go down here, we look at what's an initial arm. Well, it says it's the arm of an angle in standard position that lies on the positive x-axis. So when you look at the definition for standard position, it talks about an initial arm, and when you look at the definition for initial arm, it talks about standard position, which really doesn't help. But if you look at this coordinate system that I have drawn here, right along there, that arm of the angle is the initial arm. And it doesn't move. The initial arm is right there on the positive x-axis. It starts at the origin and goes out. It doesn't move. For an angle in standard position, it's always there. The other arm of the angle rotates about the origin. And it's called the terminal arm. It says the terminal arm is the arm of an angle in standard position that meets the initial arm at the origin to form an angle. So if I draw another line coming out, like there, that's the terminal arm, and they meet at the origin to form an angle. This is an angle in standard position, this angle right here. It looks to be about 60 degrees. But you can draw that and label the terminal arm and the initial arm, and then the whole thing is an angle in standard position. The next thing we'll talk about is positive and negative angles. It says an angle is positive if we rotate the terminal arm counterclockwise, and an angle is negative if we rotate the terminal arm clockwise. So if we want to draw an angle of 120 degrees, positive 120 degrees, we're going to start here on the initial arm and rotate 120 degrees, which brings you around to somewhere around there. There's the initial arm and there's the terminal arm, and this angle is 120 degrees. It's not exact, I didn't use a protractor to measure it, but we know this is 90 straight up, so 120, 30 degrees more than that, it's somewhere around there. If we wanted to do 120 degrees, a negative 120 degrees, the initial arm is still the same, but we're going to go clockwise instead of counterclockwise, so it's going to be down here. There's negative 120 degrees. A reference angle is the angle formed between the terminal arm and the x-axis. And it says find the reference angle of 150 degrees. So first we need to think about where 150 degrees would be. What quadrant would 150 degrees be in? Top left. It has a name.
1.
2, right?
Oh, it's a bullet.
1, 2, 3, 4, like that. This is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to be in quadrant 2. It's somewhere around there. There's an angle of 150 degrees. Again, it's approximate, but 150 degrees. The reference angle is the angle between the terminal arm and the x-axis. Whether it's the positive or the negative x-axis, whichever one's closer. So the reference angle for this is actually this angle in here. Because the terminal arm is here, and the x-axis, the closest one is there. And how big is that angle? 30 degrees, right. Reference angle equals 30 degrees. So you just measure to the x-axis, not all the way from the positive x-axis at the beginning. Coterminal angles are angles in standard position with the same terminal arms. So it says draw the first positive coterminal angle of 60 degrees. Well, first let's draw 60. That's like around there, right? There's 60 degrees. A coterminal angle, any idea what it would be?
90 and -270. Or no.
Those would be here, right?
120.
So this one's 60. The way to get a negative 60? Negative 60 would be down here in the fourth quadrant. But what would it be if you went negative all the way around to there?
260.
Negative 300, right? Negative 300 is coterminal to 60, but it's actually asking us for a positive coterminal angle. So what we have to do is start on the x-axis and go all the way around to there. So it's 360 plus 60, which is 420. That's a coterminal angle of 60 degrees. If you went all the way around again, you would get 780. That would be another positive coterminal angle. How did I get the 780? Do you know? Just add it 360, right. So if you keep adding 360, you keep getting another angle that's coterminal. The last one on your sheet I think that we didn't do is principal angle, and it's an angle that exists between 0 and 360. It should say 0 degrees and 360 degrees. Those look like sixes. Find the principal angle of 420 degrees. So 420 degrees, we just did, right? It was like there. This is 420. There. But the principal angle is just this part, 60 degrees. I'm going to call it theta P for principal angle, 60 degrees.